Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. Oh boy, Kyle Rittenhouse family is being evicted, and they're out there pleading for money. And isn't it funny how these folks have been telling us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, right? Haven't they said that over and over and over? And then Kyle Rittenhouse comes along. They raise money to pay for his attorneys. They raise money for the family. Kyle Rittenhouse did an interview back in November of 2023 saying he was broke. And then he put that lame ass book out looking for donations. And now the family, y'all, they are being met with a lot of vicious comments. And people ain't feeling it no more. It's too much of Kyle Rittenhouse and his family with their handout. So, yeah, he wanted donations back in November because he was broke. And then I think he came out with that lame ass book that didn't go anywhere. And now they need help and need money again. How many times do you have to help the same person before you realize maybe this family are not trying very hard? I'm just saying, y'all make them claims about us. You always claim we're not applying ourselves. And well, that's what I'm saying about Kyle Rittenhouse and his family. They're not applying themselves. They're not pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. They're not doing enough out here to make it. So let's get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom to everybody in my chat right now. Shalom to everybody. I thought these folks had high IQs and know everything. How can you be broke with a high IQ? I'm just saying. All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, many of these women, when they're raising little monsters like Kyle Rittenhouse, they do that deliberately, especially, when they're being taught racism. And many of them are also taught to be aggressive in that racism. And when they grow up and be little monsters like him, now they realize they got a problem. Didn't turn out the way you thought it would. See, Kyle Rittenhouse will always be on my radar because when he showed up in Kenosha with that weapon, he got straight up into black people's face. And things just took a turn for the worse for him. And white people intervened. And that's why he ended up killing those people. But his intent was to go straight for black people. And that's exactly what he did. So never lose sight. I know he killed white people, but never lose sight. His real target were black people that were out there protesting in Kenosha. So anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse family plead for donations to avoid eviction, met with vicious reactions. As they said, Kyle is straight up refusing to help his mother and sister from being evicted. He won't help them. He will not help them. Two very close members of Kyle Rittenhouse are facing eviction. It's his mom and his sister, and said he refused to help them despite his fatal shooting in August of 2020 being a large catalyst for many of the woes they face. Rittenhouse sister Faith Rittenhouse posted a GoFundMe campaign asking for $3,000 in financial assistance to help prevent her and her mother, Wendy Rittenhouse, from being evicted from their apartment. Faith said she made the request with a heavy heart and a sense of urgency because she and her mother only had 8 days to vacate the premises and were on the brink of losing everything. Now, y'all remember Kyle Rittenhouse was a welfare kid. He grew up, he's an example of someone that grew up on welfare. Now, his mother never had a lot of money. She was a nursing assistant. I believe she worked in a nursing home as a nursing assistant. So they never had a lot at all. But he grew up on welfare, him and his sister. So, because these folks try to act like folks like him don't exist. And they're the main ones on welfare. Just under 4 years ago, our lives were shattered when my brother was involved in a tragic shooting. Faith wrote in the campaign description. The aftermath of this event uprooted our family's stability, left us grappling with grief, trauma, and harsh reality of starting over. We know that we are not the only family struggling to rebuild after that fateful night. In wake of this tragedy, my family, among many other families, have faced countless challenges. We've had difficulty obtaining and maintaining employment due to the fact that many people still believe my mother drove Kyle or was somehow involved in his decision to go to Kenosha. Her plea continues, referencing the night of August 25th, 2020, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, after which Kyle rose to infamy. So Wendy is saying, due to the fact that people believe that Wendy, his mother, drove him to Kenosha, because that's in another state from where he lived, they won't help them, especially with employment. So many of the people within their community have turned their backs on the Rittenhouse family. I am not surprised, y'all. A lot of times when these things happen and people get off, they are shunned. They are. This happened to George Zimmerman. Although he walked out of that courtroom, he had a lot of problems every time he went out in public. He was shunned. And it sounds like the same thing is going on with Kyle Rittenhouse family. You know, a lot of people in that community that he lives in, they ain't feeling this Rittenhouse family at all. So let's go on, y'all. So she put in the GoFundMe. Let me see if I can. Okay. Looks like Kyle Rittenhouse family was evicted from their apartment and Kyle didn't do anything to help them. So somebody just posted this on X. Kyle's sister Faith made a GoFundMe weeks ago begging for money, saying her and her mother were going to be evicted in 8 days. We've had difficulty obtaining employment. So she said, is anyone shocked at all that Kyle wouldn't help the family he put in the crosshairs of his mess? No. I mean, I'm not surprised. That little runt is rotten. He's a little rotten little runt. And look at what he's doing now. He's working for Turning Point USA and trying to talk, racism and gun rights and all that stuff. And this boy needs to go somewhere and sit down and get a real proper job. Get a real job and stop going around the college campuses, colleges. He's not even eligible to get in to address the students. This dude can't even get into the military. He's so stupid he couldn't even pass the exam to get into the Marines. So, what else can he do other than stand and run his mouth? He doesn't have any skills. And like I said, y'all, if people were not helping Kyle Rittenhouse, this dude would be eating out of trash cans. He has a serious inability to be able to take care of himself, and it shows. That was the night her brother shot 3 men at a Black Lives Matter protest, 2 of whom died from their injury, only 17 at the time. Kyle claimed self-defense, saying that he traveled to Antioch, Illinois. They lived in Antioch, Illinois, and he went from there to Kenosha to be a self-appointed protector of local businesses. You know what? The local businesses, when you hear the business owners talk, they said, we don't request these guys to come out here and protect our businesses. See, they're doing that because they want to brandish weapons in front of Black people. That's all that's about. That's all they're doing. But I have yet to hear one local business say, I'm glad these guys were out here. These armed guys came out here. They never say that. Never. And like I said before, how come you armed guys that like to show up at protests, how come y'all never show up at the school shootings with your weapons? I'm going to still ask that question. Y'all show up at a Black Lives Matter rally, but when a school shooting is going on, you ain't nowhere to be found. So in November of 2021, a jury found him not guilty of all charges he faced, including 2 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder, 2 counts of reckless endangerment. Now 21, Kyle is a popular speaker in a conservative circle and media platforms and is the outreach director at the Texas gun rights. So he also published a book. Yeah, we all laughed about that book because it didn't go anywhere about the shooting and has launched multiple fundraisers for his legal expenses. According to Faith's request, he has refused to help them and left them to fend for themselves. Oh, Kyle, you have no loyalty to your family. You remember the ones that sat in that courtroom and cried right along with you? Now you done walked away and said, fend for yourself. Wow. That's what he did to his. This dude is rotten. He is a rotten little monster. He really is. I knew he was rotten the moment I saw that video of him beating up some girl he went to school with. I knew he was a rotten little devil then. So look at what he's doing to his own family. So Faith said her and her mother are left out there fending for themselves, and Kyle has completely turned his back on them. We've struggled emotionally, mentally, and financially to piece our lives back together. With my brother's unwillingness to provide support or contribute to our family, we've been left to navigate these journeys on our own, Faith wrote. Well, what happened to Kyle's father? Where's the father? Where's the father? Isn't that what y'all always say? Well, that's what I'm saying in this case. Where's Faith and Kyle's father? You gonna let your daughter be homeless? You're not gonna step up for your daughter? Even if you don't want to do anything for your ex-wife, you could at least step up for your daughter. Where's the father? So the campaign features a photo of Faith in a hospital bed, a likely way for her to collaborate, her claims. So she made the claims that she has been unable to work due to ongoing medical issues. This is what Kyle Rittenhouse' sister is saying. Users on X express mixed reviews about Faith's campaign. Is anyone at all shocked Kyle wouldn't help the family that he put in the crosshairs of his own mess? One user wrote, my brother was involved in a tragic shooting incident. Doesn't exactly describe what happened. Her violent brother went out hunting for liberals. No, he went out hunting for black people. It just turned on, everything just turned on him out there, and would not have presented any danger if he had stayed home that night. Another wrote, others weren't so nice and made it clear that they did not feel sorry for his mother, Wendy, at all. Yeah, because she raised this monster. She raised this monster. She radicalized this monster up in her house. Yeah, so a lot of people aren't going to feel bad for them. Kyle is a victim. His mother groomed him to be a monster that he is today. Good for him for waking up and realizing she ruined his life, another wrote. As of this writing, the campaign raised $3,735, exceeding their $3,000 goal. Now, I don't know if they got that money in time where they weren't evicted, because I'm looking at something that's saying they were evicted from their apartment. So, wow, your mom and sister were screaming for help, and Kyle Rittenhouse walked away from his own family. Well, well, Wendy, you raised them. Okay, don't complain about your little monster now. You raised him. You raised him to be the way that he is today. You didn't have no problem with it before. But now that he will forever have those murders on him, no matter what he does, it's going to be there. And people, as long as he is a public figure, like he is working for Turning Point USA, he's always going to be reminded of that murder. See, maybe the courts let him go. The public will never, ever, ever let him go. And he's a conservative. He's a Republican. Aren't they supposed to be about family values, family? Isn't that what they used to always talk about? I used to laugh at that because I knew these people were full of crap. But isn't that what the Republicans claimed they were all about? Family values. Well, where's the family values in Kyle Rittenhouse now? They helped him get through that trial. Now he don't know who they are. Ooh, doesn't that go back to the scripture on how the family would be divided? Mother against daughter, father against son. That's what this reminds me of. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, these people are a joke. But y'all were backing this little monster. So don't walk away from him now. Y'all keep propping your little hero up. This is your little hero, so y'all keep propping him up. He gonna let his mother and sister live out in the streets and don't care. So y'all, you made this dude your hero, so y'all just keep propping him up. Keep propping your little. This is your great white hope, Kyle Rittenhouse. Keep propping him up. So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude. I want to thank. I see somebody gave Spiritual Battle for the super sticker. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Kyle is probably off somewhere on Section 8. You saw how them college students ran his butt off the stage, and everywhere he goes, he gets heavily protested by the student body. They don't even want him on their campus. And even they're saying they don't want a murderer on their campus. So, hey, like I said, just because he walked out of that courtroom and he had all the charges thrown out, it doesn't mean the public is going to embrace him. Thank you, Erica J., for becoming a channel member for 16 months. Thank you. Shalom, family.